All right, what is up, guys? VV back with another video. This time we're on my favorite color of cards, the black cards. Very excited about this video, so let's hop right into it because I'm probably going to take enough time. Y'all know I can be long-winded on these. So first up, we got Idio, who is a 2-cost, 2,000 power, 1,000 counter blocker. Dressrosa type. This is just a very average costed 2-cost blocker. So I'm just going to give this about a 6 out of 10. It's just, I'll give it a 5.5 out of 10 rather. You know, I think I give all of these about the same. You can expect this from any 2-cost blocker, 2K power, 1,000 counter. This is very common. You'll see this all over the place through every color. So I'll give it, it's a little better than average in my opinion because it is at least a blocker for very cheap. I'm just going to give it a 5.5 or 6 out of 10. Okay, next. Okay, Oimo and Kashi. Omo and Kashi, I'm not sure how to say that. 6 cost, 8,000 power, 1,000 counter, giant world government, vanilla. 5 out of 10. Okay, Orlumbus. 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1,000 counter, black Dressrosa, Yanta Maria fleet character. This effect, the effect he has is activate main once per turn, give up to one of your opponent's characters -4 costs during this turn, and trash 2 cards from the top of your deck. Okay, now remember with Rebecca, you want to do that. Then KO one of your Dressrosa type characters. Okay, that part of the cost is steep. Hopefully there's something to offset that in the set. Okay, and I do know of a card that will be like that. So just keep in mind there is something to offset this. But overall, for what this card is, I'm not a huge fan of it. So it's a 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1,000 counter. The part I like the best is actually the trash 2 cards from the top of your deck. You know, because it gets through it. The KOing one of your Dressrosa types is, you know, that's not as big a deal as it might sound. You'll see once we get to one of these cards. But it's just, he's a 4 cost 5K. Here's the problem with your 4 cost cards in black. What are you going to replace? Are you going to replace the Kuzan, who has this effect whenever he attacks, and who also draws you a card? Like, yeah, he doesn't have the 1K counter, but he draws a card. Like, I'm talking about the 4 cost Kuzan, of course. Or do you replace the 4 cost Borsalino? And I know you don't replace 4 cost Borsalino. So, I mean, like, where does he fit exactly when it comes to the black decks? I don't know. That -4 cost for the ability, it's not bad. It does give Dressrosa a way to, you know, get some minus to costs going on. You know, it's a way for them to access that feature. But I don't know. I think the effect is fine. I'm not saying it's, like, horrible. But it kind of is a steep cost where you have to have a certain card in play in order to get this effect going. So I'm going to give this just a 5 out of 10. This is just extremely average for what it does and how it's costed. It might be a little better than that, but I think a lot of people who might be watching this might know what I'm saying. Like, -4 cost is not really what I need for this kind of cost. So I don't know. That's just me. We'll see. I'm giving this a 5 out of 10 personally. Tell me if you disagree in the comments below. Gats. We got a 1 cost, 1,000 power, 2,000 counter, black Dressrosa character. Effect on play, up to one of your Dressrosa type characters can also attack active characters this turn. Very solid 2K counter with a relevant effect. I'm giving this an 8. 8 out of 10. This is fine. This is good. You know, you're typically going to use this as a 2K counter, but if they have a character on the board you need to swing at that's active, that's not tapping out, he's not resting, then you can go straight for him with a card like this. I think this is exactly what a Dressrosa black deck would need. I'm giving this an 8 out of 10, maybe an 8.5 out of 10. Perfect 2K counter. Okay, Cavendish. We got a 5 cost, 6,000 power, black Dressrosa, beautiful pirates character here with 0 counter. That's all right. Effect, Dawn ×1. This character can also attack active characters. When attacking, you may rest your leader, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less, then trash 2 cards from the top of your deck. This is everything you want in a Dressrosa, you know, character attacker, right? A character that can attack active characters. You put 1 Dawn. He's a 5 cost, 6K. You put the 1 Dawn on for the effect, and he's a 7K. So he's coming in. Yeah, he's coming in hot, right? When attacking, you may rest your leader, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less. And then you get to trash 2 cards on top of your deck. Just extremely, extremely efficient. Extremely good at what he's doing. He is missing 1K counter, but honestly, for what this is doing, I'm very happy with it. And now let me mention this while we're here. This is the issue that I have with the Orlumbus card. This causes you to rest your leader as well, as you'll see in a minute with the Kairos ability. If you don't have the Stadium in play, or the Coliseum rather, you start getting to these interactions. And I think I'll try to talk more about it later, but just know that this ends up resting your leader because of a character we haven't gotten to yet. And, well, we also want to rest our leader because of this ability, right? So there's only so many times, there's only so many interactions we can have in a single turn. And I think we have to be very sparing when we're building our decks to make all this work at the same time to flow, smoothly, fluidly, however you want to say it. But for this card's rating, I give this card a 7.5 out of 10. Because if you do have any kind of Dawn reduction, then guess what? Or a Dawn reduction. So if you have any kind of cost reduction, this guy's just mowing characters over. He's coming in, okay, when attacking, KO that guy, trash cards on top of my deck, and I'm attacking this character who's not even rested, right? I mean, he can just kind of bully the opponent's board and beat him into submission, so to speak. Okay. So I give it so again, and now we're going to, Kairos, the next one we're talking about is going to be the big one, is a big one. But let me say it one more time. So I think this is a 7.5 out of 10 for Cavendish. Okay, Kairos. 3 costs, 5,000 power, black color, Dressrosa type character with the effect of, if this character would be KO'd, you may rest your leader or 1 core to Coliseum instead. On play, if your leader is Rebecca, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less. Then trash one card off the top of your deck. So here we go. This curve of, turn 3, or 3 cost, when you have 3 Dawn, Kairos, when you have 5 Dawn, Cavendish, very strong curve, right? Very strong. And this is allowing such board control. So now let me explain the interaction here. With Kairos, remember, if this character would be KO'd, you may rest your leader or 1 core to Coliseum instead. Well, that basically ties in with Orlumbus, where you have to KO one of your Dressrosa type characters. Well, Kairos says, sure, KO me, and I'll just tap the leader instead. Well, okay, now we can't use his action when attacking, where we need to rest our leader and KO up to one of our opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less. And yes, this thing does have the out of being able to use through core to Coliseum, but now you're leaving your guy exposed. Basically, is what I'm trying to say when it comes to them attacking him. I don't know. I personally don't like Orlumbus that much. I'm not saying he's not strong. I'm not saying he won't see play. I'm just saying that I don't personally like the way his interaction is with the deck. But anyway, moving on from there, that might be a little bit nitpicking. But here we have Kairos. This guy, 3 costs, 5,000 power. He is right on curve. He just doesn't have a 1,000 counter. However, he does have 2 insanely powerful effects where he can't be KO'd realistically. And then on play, if your leader is Rebecca, you can KO. This is on play. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less. Then trash 1 card from the top of your deck. He just comes in and deals with any kind of little 1-cost blockers or 1-cost searchers. And then he starts beating down for the rest of the game where he's just practically unkillable. This is Black's version of Marco. This card is just incredible. I give this card a 9.5 out of 10. The only 0.5 I can take off is the fact that it doesn't have a counter. I'm not saying it doesn't more than make up for it with these abilities here, with these effects rather, but I have to nitpick it a little bit. I have to get this a 9.5 out of 10. This card is unbelievably strong. Very, very high value card. He has resistance, he's on curve, and he has the ability to KO something when he comes into play and trashing a card directly affecting everything Rebecca does as a leader. So yeah, and even think of it like this. Even without that on play effect, he could fit in almost any kind of deck you want to run that runs black, because his effect is you just bow down, you rest your leader, or core to Coliseum if you're running that. But you get the point. It's mainly for Rebecca. This card's incredible. 9 to 9.5 out of 10. Alternate art, equally impressive, very solid. I like both of them. The parallel is probably a little better, though, in my opinion. Very solid. Okay. We had one banger straight into another banger. This is Sabo. 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1,000 counter, black, Dressrosa, Revolutionary Army character. Effect. Already, guys, he's good, right? He already has the... And he's a blocker, by the way. There's one of the first effect. But wait till I read this on play. He's a 5 cost, 6,000 power blocker with 1,000 counter. He's already hit where he needs to be like at a 7 or 7.5. Okay? On play, though, none of your characters can be KO'd by effects until the start of your next turn. Oh, wait, there's more. Then draw 2 cards and trash 2 cards from your hand. This goes straight into Rebecca, straight into the... you're going through cards, you're looking for answers, you're putting cards in your trash. It's going to fuel another character that we already know about, right? Luffy, 7 cost Luffy, right? Well, most people know about, right? Most people should know by now about 7 cost Luffy, who is a Dressrosa Straw Hat that just eats these kind of actions out. This card is insane. This card is wild. This card is so good. This is a 9.5 out of 10. This is like a 9.9 out of 10. Like, oh, it doesn't have a 2,000 counter. We got to get like the most picky ever, right? Otherwise, this card's a 10 out of 10. All joking aside, this card is a 10 out of 10. It does every single thing you could want for 5 cost. It's a 6,000 power blocker with plus 1,000 counter with, like I said, blocker. And it has 2 on plays in one, basically, right? Where none of your characters can be KO'd by effects until the start of your next turn, and then draw 2 cards and trash 2 cards from your hand. Sensational, incredible. Can't say enough good things about this card. I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. I might as well give it a 10 out of 10. Unbelievable. Okay, got a parallel art for it. And we got a one of the little hidden manga arts. Very cool. Okay. Stussy. I don't know. 2 cost, 3,000 power, CP type, black character that has on play effect. Look at 3 cards from the top of your deck and play up to 1 character card with a type including CP other than Stussy and a cost of 2 or less. Then trash the rest. So my biggest issue with this card is the fact that it doesn't have 1,000 counter. Most 2 cost 3,000 power searchers like this have a 1k counter. Why does she not? And by the way, she only looks at 3 cards because, the way CP works and the way Dressrosa works is they want cards in their trash. This card does not look at up to 5 cards, it only does 3 cards. And it doesn't have the 1k counter. I don't know. I personally don't like that. I think this card should have 1,000 counter. And I'm just going to make it a 5 point. I'll make it a 6 out of 10 because of that. I'll make it a 5.5 because of that. Man, I'm tempted to make it a 5 out of 10 because why would you run this over brand new, right? Like brand new. Let me make sure, or not brand new. Excuse me. Spandam. So Spandam, for those who don't know, he is from OP03. I'm just gonna literally like drag it over here for y'all. Like Spandam, this is a 1 cost. There we go. Sorry about that. Anyway, y'all get the point. Sorry, this isn't exactly lined up. Oh, there we go. So Spandam, he is literally a 1 cost 2,000 power 1k counter that looks for CP. The exact same effect. Now, one thing I will say I have an issue with him is your leader has to be CP. Unless that's a bad translation, I don't like that. But anyway, just all I'm trying to say is there's already a 1 cost searcher, but hey, it's always good to have more than 1 searcher, right? And worst case scenario is you can just discard this if you need the counters when you do a search, if you get it off Spandam or something. I don't know. I think this is a 5 out of 10 for a searcher. Very disappointing that she does not have a 1k counter, and that is a big deal. That does become a big deal later in the game. So I'm going to go with a 5. For a searcher, I'm going to give her a 5.5 out of 10. Okay, Suleiman. 3 cost, 4,000 power, 1,000 counter. We have a black Dressrosa character who has the effect of on play and when attacking, either or both, I guess. If your leader has the Dressrosa type, give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost during this turn, then trash a card from the top of your deck. Okay, I don't like that this is Dressrosa only. The card I like. The card itself, 3 cost, 4,000 power, 1,000 counter, on play effect, and when attacking, I do like that. But why is this being limited to Dressrosa only? You know, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the type not being navy if they need. I mean, I think that's fine if they just could not make it like a navy type, maybe for lore reasons, whatever. I don't care. The point is, I get that the type is not that, but why can't I use him in my navy deck? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't I be able to use him in like an Isho deck or in a Rob Lucci or something? You know, I'm just spitballing right now, a Garp, you name it. He can't do it. He has on play when attacking if your leader has the Dressrosa type. The effect is incredible. Give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost during this turn, and then trash one card from the top of your deck. So very solid. Very, very solid card. It is 1k power off of curve, but it has that effect. I'm going to give this it's not just an on play, it's just continuous. They have to deal with him or he's going to start -2ing everything every single turn. So I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. Very solid card. 6.5 out of 10. Xinjiao, I don't know. 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1,000 counter, black Dressrosa, Hapasui, don't know, army. Character. Effect, Dawn ×1, so attach 1 Dawn to him. When this character battles and KOs your opponent's character, draw 2 cards and trash 2 cards from your hand. This is very good for what it does, trust me. It is a 5 cost, so it battles in spots with Sabo. I said Sanji. With Sabo. Dawn ×1 investment's not too bad, but you'll see later where this effect is actually very relevant because he's going to be able to swing right away when you have a certain stage in play from OP04. That's Dressrosa type. Draw 2 cards and trash cards from your hand when this character battles and KOs your opponent's character. This is solid, you know. I don't know how much play it'll see. I think it's a little impractical because why would I pay 5 to get a 6 in this 1,000 counter to hopefully draw 2 cards and trash 2 cards when I can just play Sabo and get that effect and make all my cards safe for next round? So it's solid. It is strong, but I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I don't think it's anything unbelievable. I don't think... in fact, I think some Dressrosa decks probably won't even play this card. Okay, so 6 out of 10. Okay, Trafalgar Law. This is a 5 cost, 7,000 power, 1,000 counter, black Dressrosa Heart Pirates character, vanilla, 5 out of 10. Very cool art, though, I gotta say, very cool art. Hajradin, 6 cost, 7,000 power, 1,000 counter, black giant Dressrosa, new giant pirates character. This guy's big. 6 cost, 7,000 power, 1,000 counter. Very nice stats. It's at that 7,000 magic number. Activate main. You may rest your leader. Give up to one of your opponent's characters -4 cost during this turn. So this is the exact same thing as Orlumbus. I'm not going to blast through all the pictures, but this is the same thing as Orlumbus, right? Where you can do this effect without having to KO one of your guys. Now, yes, you don't get to mill 2 cards from that or discard, trash the top 2 cards of your library from that. But ultimately, who cares because it's less restrictive. You don't have to KO one of your guys. You don't have to, tap down your leader to survive, to have your Kairos survive. You don't have to have a Kairos out. You can just use this ability, right? Now, he is 2 costs more, and he does not have the same effect. Like we said, you can't mill the 2 off the top of your deck. But I still like this card better. I'm going to give this card a 6.5 out of 10 because it is a big body swinging and it does have an effect that all you have to do is rest your leader to do it. So, you don't have to have the other card on the board. You don't have to have your Kairos on the board, right? You can just do this effect. Solid. 6.5 out of 10. Nothing crazy. Okay, all right, Bartolomeo, 3 cost, 3,000 power, 2,000 counter, black Dressrosa Bardo Club type character, effect blocker. This card, 9 out of 10. This card is a 9 out of 10 for me. It's got the 2,000 counter. It has blocker keyword. It's a 3 cost, 3,000 power. What more could you want in a card realistically for what it's doing? It's Dressrosa type, so you can grab it with any type of Dressrosa search, whether it be Rebecca, or the other Rebecca we're going to get to later. Very nice card. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Okay, this was the other card. Sorry, guys. So this was the Monkey D. Luffy card coming out in OP04. This card, okay, 7 cost, 7,000 power. Black, Dressrosa, Straw Hat Crew character. Effect, this character can also attack active characters. Activate main, once per turn. You may return 7 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. Set this character as active. Then, this character will not become active in your next refresh phase. But then you can just use the effect again if you have enough cards in your trash. So this card, I've seen what it can do in play testing and people doing just proxy videos. Whew, this card is ugly, man. This card is brutal. It can do a lot in the Rebecca deck when you're playing the deck properly. It's built properly, and it can go a long way. This card is amazing. 9 out of 10. This card, it doesn't have a counter. It is 2,000 power under the curve and no counter, but it more than makes up for it with the fact that it can attack active characters, and you can use this effect to stand them and do a double strike in one turn, right? Like hit their life, return 7 cards to the bottom of your deck from your trash, swing again for life. Like he can do like these alpha strikes, and we're gonna get to a card later that also deals with that, but. This card, 9 out of 10, very, very strong card. Alternate art, parallel art, looks amazing. Leo, 1 cost, 2,000 power, 1,000 counter, black, the Tantatas Dressrosa type character. Effect, on play, you may rest your leader. If your leader has the Dressrosa type, KO up to one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 1 or less, then trash 2 cards from the top of your deck. Ultimately, I don't think this is that great. I do think this would be a nice meta card, or like an anti-meta card if Zoro stays strong. If they're running the the swing wide variants where they have a bunch of 1 costs where you can just take out their Sunny-kun. I think this card has decent utility, and I think it's better than average. But it's not something I'm especially excited about if I'm trying to make a Dressrosa deck. Again, not that it's bad. It's just that you only have 50 cards in a deck, so you have to really limit your options. But I'll still give this card a 6.5 out of 10. 6.5, maybe a 7 out of 10 because it does trash 2 cards top. Yeah, we'll give it a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 with this card, Leo. Okay, here's the other Rebecca I was talking about. 1 cost, 2,000 power, 1,000 counter, black Dressrosa type character, searcher, effect, on play, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Dressrosa type card other than Rebecca, and add it to your hand, then trash the rest. Yep, there's your searcher, guys. So this, this is exactly what it's supposed to be. I just give it a 7 out of 10 or 7.5 out of 10. It's just your standard searcher value. Cool art. Okay, Gum Gum King Kong Gun. 3 cost, black Dressrosa Straw Hat Crew event. Effect, main. Get ready for this card here, guys. Really pay attention to this card. Read it if you have to. Effect, main, up to one of your Dressrosa type characters gains plus 6,000 power during this turn. Then, if you have 15 or more cards in your trash, that card gains double attack during this turn. Okay? So, just think about this with the Luffy we just looked at. If you have 15 or more cards in your trash, you use this card on him. He is now, remember, he's a 7,000, so plus 6,000. So for a 3 Dawn investment, he becomes a 13,000 with double attack. You swing for 13, hits double, and like we said, if you have 15 cards in your trash, you can now return 7, and this effect still has already happened. It's already resolved. So he still has double strike, or double attack, rather. You put the 7 cards on the bottom of your deck, and you swing for 13k again. This card seems extremely powerful. It is like a wombo combo type of effect, but it also has a trigger. This trigger is equally incredible in my personal opinion. Draw 3 cards and trash 2 cards from your hand. That draw 3, discard 2. I mean, that's pretty good, guys. This card through and through, and it's not overly costed. It's actually pretty well costed for a plus. Let me say it like this. Say you don't even achieve the double attack. Say you don't have 15 or more cards. You're paying 3 for 6,000 power on a Dressrosa character. So that's Sabo. That's this new Luffy. That is, any of these Kairos, whatever you're running as a Dressrosa character, it's going to have access to this ability. Okay? And then if you do have the 15 or more cards in your trash, the card's going to gain double attack as well. Then you get off the top for the trigger. That's just as good, arguably in some cases. I just think this card's incredible. I'm giving this, it does require some setup. You want the trigger, which you can't always depend on how you can't really determine if you're going to get the trigger every game. But the main effect you can try and get off every game. You're going to be running Sabo in probably 99% of black decks when it comes out. So you're always going to have a relevant target for this. I honestly think that with a card like this, you're looking at, is this another 9 out of 10, man? I mean, it's bare minimum 7.5 out of 10. But I will lean on the safer side, saying that, I do understand that it's, people would use it more as a wombo combo card, but it's really just an execute card. You just main up to one of your Dressrosa type characters gains 6,000. What's his, best character on the board? Throw this on, on Luffy or Sabo or Kairos, like I said, and now you're looking at an 11,000 or a 12,000 or a 13,000 character swinging for a 3-Dawn investment. I don't know, man. I think that's very strong, and then it does have the added effects that we said. I'm going 8.5 out of 10 on the safe side, but realistically, I want to give this a 9 out of 10 because again, that trigger, incredible. Okay, I'm going 8.5 is a safe bet, but personally, I want to give it a 9 out of 10. Truno Bastardo. Okay, 4-cost black Dressrosa type event. This has effect, main, choose up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less and KO it. Okay, sounds good. What else does it have? If you have 15 or more cards in your trash. Okay, another one of those effects for the trashing. Choose up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less instead of a character with a cost of 4 or less. So there you go. This is basically... Yeah, I mean, I would say this is basically Jet Pistol, but I think it's stronger. Like, I think its main effect baseline is like, a cost of 4 or less. That's gonna, and you are running. Remember, you're running a black deck. You're gonna have ways to drop that down. I think this will find a spot in every single black deck because that first effect alone, just pay 4, remove a 4 cost 4 or less from the board, KO it, right? Let's see, and then it has a trigger. You may rest your leader, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. That's pretty much exclusively Rebecca, right? Unless you just didn't swing with your leader by chance one turn and got this on the trigger. But realistically, that's probably just for Rebecca. I think the trigger will actually be hard to pull off even with Rebecca because there are a lot of effects where you want to tap down your leader. You want to rest your leader to get an effect. But generally speaking, the main effect is what we're here to look at. That main effect is very, very strong because you're paying 4 to remove a cost 4 or less. I'm going with, it's like, okay, let me say it like this. It's for 4 costs, removing a 4 or less, I put that at a 7.5 out of 10. But if you have 15 cards in your library and you're removing a 6 or less for 4, that is like a 9.5 out of 10. So I'll take the average in there, and I'm just going to call it like an 8. Right, an 8. I'll call it an 8 out of 10. Extremely good. I might be underselling that. Y'all tell me what y'all think about in the comments. I think this card is not busted, but it's bonkers, man. This card is very, very solid. Okay. Barrier. 1 cost. Black Dressrosa Bardo Club event. Effect. Counter. Up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 2,000 power during this battle. Then if you have 15 or more cards in your trash, that card gains an additional plus 2,000 power during this battle. So this is like Black's Radical Beam. I mean, it's literally the exact same thing, right? But instead of being on 2 life, it's 15 or more cards in your trash. This card is perfectly good. Trigger. Now, one thing I will say that this card doesn't really have is the interaction with Whitebeard, right? And what I mean when I say that is, the thing that makes Radical Beam so strong is, typically speaking, they'll go, okay, 10 Dawn open, right? Plop down Edward Newgate. Now my leader is an 8K, right? He's not a 6K anymore. He's an 8K, And for 1 Dawn, I can pump him up to a 12k, right? So this isn't that good, but I'll still give this for what it is. This is at least an 8.5 out of 10. It is Black's 1 cost, plus 2,000 with the potential to be even higher than that. Trigger, it still has a trigger. Draw 2 cards and trash from card from hand. Very, very good. Yeah, this has to be at least an 8.5 out of 10. Very solid card. Okay, last card here. Corrida Coliseum. 1 cost, black, Dressrosa type stage. Effect, if your leader has the Dressrosa type, your Dressrosa type characters can attack characters on the turn in which they are played. So, if your leader has Dressrosa, that's specifically and only Rebecca, right? You get this effect. Now, you technically can still play this card in any black deck, or even splash black deck, but you won't get this effect. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is if you want to run Kairos, where he still is very strong, you could still run this in any deck, and you could still tap this instead of your leader to keep him alive. But again, I'm just brainstorming here. But this ability in a Dressrosa deck and the Rebecca deck is absolutely nuts, right? It is a 1 cost stage, so you can play it right on turn 1. No matter if you go first or second. And then it has characters can also attack characters on the turn in which they are played. So this effectively gives your 7 cost Luffy and your 5 cost Cavendish and your 3 cost Kairos. It gives them rush against characters that they can attack normally. So this doesn't mean you can just start attacking active characters unless your card says it, like Luffy and Cavendish. But Sabo and Kairos, they can still use this, but they can only attack rested characters, but they'd be able to swing into them on the turn they're played. This is an outstanding stage, right? I don't know how to judge stages, but I got to tell you this stage is incredible. And I have to give it like an 8 out of 10. I guess I'll give it an 8 out of 10, maybe 7.5 out of 10 because it's only usable in Dressrosa realistically, but I really want to go into the 8.5 or 9 range. So this card, just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Okay, then we get a parallel art for Sakazuki. And then we got Isho and Rebecca. So I do want to talk about Rebecca real quick because I feel like Isho leans a little more towards green cards. But who knows? You never know how people are going to build these decks. Just to remind everyone, this leader cannot attack. It's a 5,000 power, 5 life, blue-black Dressrosa leader. Activate main once per turn, pay 1. If you have 6 or less cards in your hand, look at 2 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Dressrosa type card, add it to your hand, trash the rest. Whew. Guys, you're drawing cards in this deck. This is the kind of deck you shouldn't be afraid to use a lot of counters with, right? Because you're not gaining any life back, right? There's no yellow splash. So, when you lose life, it's permanent. So you want to be using up counters as much as possible because realistically, you're drawing 2 cards a turn. Okay, and you're sifting through even more answers than that with cards like if you play Kuzan, if you play, obviously if you're going to play Sabo, this nice alternate art. This deck's going to have a lot of strength. I think if you're running Rebecca, the leader, Rebecca the character, the searcher. Let me go through these. Bear with me, guys. Rebecca the searcher. And you're running like Sabos, Kuzans, and I think that's mainly it. Or if you get any triggers from your Gum Gum King Kong gun, or if you're running Barrier, get a trigger from that. You're going to be able to get through a lot of cards, guys. A lot of cards very quickly. So, I think you're going to want to run a lot of counters if you're trying to make a deck like this. But yeah, I think so far, Black has gotten the best cards from OP04, in my personal opinion. These cards have been incredible. The standard blocker here, standard vanilla here. Orlamus was okay, even though he wasn't my style. Gat's just a solid 2K counter for Dressrosa to search up. You got Cavendish just smacking other characters around. You got Kairos doing just anything he wants and with impunity. Just it's going to be so hard to remove this character because obviously if they try to swing into him when he's rested, you're going to use your counters to get out of it at first, right? If you can realistically. Otherwise, it's going to be like, okay, rest my Corda, Coliseum. Oh, okay, rest my leader, and then oh man, just very good because it's any KO effect. If this character would be KO'd, period, right? KO'd. you may rest your leader or 1 core to Coliseum instead. It doesn't matter if they do it with an effect. It doesn't matter if they do it, you know, attacking him. This guy's going to have some serious sustain. Very serious sustain. Yeah, then we got Sabo, like I said. Black got so many bangers. It's just crazy. Yeah. Awesome. Well, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed it. I know this was probably, I think this might have been my longest review, but like I've said before, black is the color that I run with, and it's the only decks that I really run. Like, I will run any splash of black. So if I, you know, black yellow, black red, black blue, black purple, black green, I'll run any splash, but I will always run a black deck. It's just what I like. I like the way the cards look. I like the way it plays out. I like everything about it. You know, it's right up my alley, so to speak. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, please leave a like and a subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time, next video. All right, peace.